go, folks. Classes have almost started, so this is the perfect time for parents to try to get your school-age kids back into the proper school-time sleep routines. But how do you do it? It might be a little bit more complicated than you think, and that's why I'm happy to have sleep psychologist and the director of the behavioral sleep medicine program at Connecticut Children's, Dr. LYNELLE SCHNEEBERG, back in. Good to see you again.
So great to see you.
Yes, you always have so many great tips, and I'm glad you're finally able to distill them into a book. Didn't even know you had it coming out on September 3rd, Becoming Your Child's Sleep Coach.
Yes.
Yeah, so congratulations on that.
We're pretty excited.
What can people find in there? What kind of different tips?
They can find ways to help 3 to 10-year-olds become great sleepers.
Yep.
Again, because that's when it gets a little tricky, when they can walk and talk and escape the room and come find you. So my book is aimed at that particular age group.
Yes, I got one of them in that age group, and that's who I'm going to sort of focus on because my 9-year-old son, like a lot of kids, has been staying up late.
Absolutely.
I think all of us could figure out that we're trying to ease them back into a school schedule.
Yeah.
But the particulars of how to do it, I think, are eluding me a little bit. So how can we?
Sure. So believe it or not, you're going to focus on the rise time.
The rise time.
More so than the bedtime.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do both, though, I assume,
Do both,
right?
of course.
Now, you were telling me before we need to focus on set the rise time. You're very sort of strident about that. Why and what do you mean with that?
Yeah, so you need to figure out when they need to get up for the school day, right? And then start making that the rise time for the next week or so because school starts in about a week.
Okay.
And at that new rise time, there are 3 things that'll set their clocks to that new time.
Yeah.
Sunlight exposure,
right,
breakfast, and some activity.
All right. So I'm guessing some people then have it backwards, right? They're thinking if you set the bedtime, everything else follows. You're saying set the rise time, and then the bedtime would then follow naturally from that?
Exactly. If you think about it, if you get up too late, right, you're going to want to go to bed late.
Yeah.
If you get up early, you've had a lot of wake time, and then the bedtime falls into place.
Yeah.
A lot more easily.
That makes sense. Okay, so let's deal with the sunlight first. What do you want to do to help sort of let that stick with somebody's circadian rhythms?
Pretty soon after they get up, it'd be great if they were outside for 30 minutes.
Okay.
So they could take a walk with the dog, they could do anything they like. They could have their breakfast outside on the patio or the deck or the balcony, anything like that.
Yeah.
And then, getting some activity.
That makes sense because sunlight is what helps us regulate that biological clock. Why breakfast, though? What part does that have in it?
Your stomach has a clock, too.
Does?
Actually. Almost all your organs have a clock. And so when the stomach sees breakfast coming, it thinks, oh, this must be my new rise time.
I'm just thinking about myself now. My stomach controls everything I do. What other sort of bad habits do you find that a lot of school-age children, especially in that 9 to 10-year-old age range, pick up over the summer that we got to try to get rid of?
Screens.
There you go.
Yep, using screens in bed.
What specifically is the problem with it? I think a lot of people know it's a problem, but what's the mechanics behind it?
Right. So people know about the blue light now. Almost everybody knows about that.
Yeah.
That's the end of the light spectrum that makes your brain think it's daytime, it's wake time. So you can set your screens to have the blue light stop, displaying basically after a certain time of the night. But beyond that, even if the blue light is turned off, a screen is still a source of endless entertainment, friends texting you, all that.
And lastly, what is there to be said about any bedtime routine that happens before you actually get in bed? Sometimes that tends to get thrown out, too, during the summer.
So in my book, I have the 5 Bs. So that's bedtime bite, I call it. The bath, brush teeth, bathroom, and books.
Yeah.
So I love it if they end just sitting in their bed reading books with a book light, just an old-fashioned book.
That's a great way to sort of wind down so it doesn't have to happen all at once. That's just one of many, many tips she's got in that new book. So happy to have her on. I remember last time she was here, she said she winds up being the hit of any party. As soon as people find out what she does for a living, everybody flocks to her. We could probably have you on every week. I'm glad you're able to come back, Dr.
Thank you so much for
Schneeberg.
having me.
Yeah, a pleasure to have you.